My work is in the sociology of punishment, broadly defined. So I have work that looks at the history of U.S. prisons and the evolution of rehabilitative programs for people inside of prisons. I have work on the expansion of probation, which is a form of community supervision. And then my most recent projects have focused around policing and police reform. So I've spent the last 4 years with a team of undergraduate and graduate students tracing the processes of reform that NPD has been undergoing, and then interviewing community residents and activists about their perceptions of the department and how they'd like to see policing transformed and reformed, and for some abolished moving forward.
That's really interesting. Why are you excited about the current teach-ins?
You know, I think this is a moment where a lot of folks are focused on racial justice, but police violence in particular. And for those of us who have been involved in studying these phenomena, for those of us who have been involved in advocacy and activism around police violence, these are not new issues, but they are there's a moment now, I think, of a reckoning with the Trump presidency and with the pandemic that feels different to a lot of people than earlier moments of activism around police violence. And it feels like there's a real sense of momentum right now around really reimagining public safety in broadly defined terms. The fact that we're seeing New York Times op-eds about abolition today, right, is something that I think many of us couldn't have imagined a couple of years ago. And so that work ultimately will fall to all of us, right? It's not just about city leaders. It's not just about police departments. It's not just about state and federal leadership. It's also about all of us, right? It's about who we vote for, who we support, when we call 911, how we interact with our neighbors. And so I think this is a moment for really transformative public education and public engagement. And I think this is a moment to take advantage in some ways of the fact that there is so much public interest to really push forward the conversation on policing and police reform and police transformation.